Hello everyone. So continuing with our design pattern series, in this video we will cover the builder design pattern. So let's get started. So builder design pattern. So first of all we will understand what is builder design pattern, why we use it, how to achieve it, right? Code implementation in C++, and finally benefits and disadvantages. Now as you may have seen my previous videos, I have created some more videos on design patterns, and all of those videos follows the similar pattern, so that it is easy for you to follow all the videos if you want to watch them together. So let's start with what is builder design pattern. So it is a creational design pattern. So it enables constructing complex objects step by step. So now the one thing is, what is complex objects? So that we will understand in the later part of the video, that what do we mean by complex objects and how does it help us creating them. Then the second thing is, it enables producing different representation of a same object using the same construction code. So it helps to write a seamless code so that you can create a similar representation of an object without duplicating your code. So these are the two things which we will learn in the next part. So this is the overall high level overview right now. So now the first thing which comes through the mind is why we use builder design pattern. So complex objects which contain many fields and sometimes nested objects requires initialization, right? So for example, let's think of a car, right? If you are creating a car object, there are many parts to it. For example, you have to create what type of wheels you want to attach, what type of doors you want to attach, right? Do you want a GPS system or not? What type of engine do you want? How many seats do you want in that car? And so on. There are a lot of functional features, there are a lot of non-functional features in a car, and if you want to create a car object, what it will do is it will result in a very big constructor, right? So that constructor has to take a lot of arguments so that you can clearly define what type of car you want to create. So that's one of the problem, that your constructor is going to be very large. Now the second problem would be that each object creation need only subset of fields. For example, if you want a regular car, there are some fancy features you don't want in that car, right? Or if you want a sport car, there are some features you want in a regular car but not in a sport car, and also there are some extra features you may want in a sport car. So basically, when you want to create a car, there are only subset of features you are interested for that particular type of object. So again, doing that will result in a very cumbersome code, and sometimes you have to overload constructor many times so that you can create different type of cars. So all of that result in a very messy code, and sometimes that code is also error prone. Now different representation of an object can also share the same initialization as we have discussed. For example, if you want to create a sport car versus a regular car versus a luxury car, all of those are different representation of a same object, right? So when you think about all of those requirements, the code which comes to mind requires a lot of constructors, and each constructor will need a lot of optional fields. So to avoid all of that, builder design pattern comes to mind. So now the question is, how do we achieve it? So this is a high level overview of how builder design pattern works. So first of all, this is the client code, right? So for example, we will consider a car example only. So we have two type of clients. One is a regular car customer and a sport car customer. Regular car customer wants a regular car, and sports car want a sports car. Now the client code doesn't need to know that what type of features it will need in a regular car versus sport car. It doesn't have to call the constructor with all the fields. What it has to do, it has to tell the director. So there is something called as a director object. So it has to call the director and tell that you have to produce a regular car or you have to produce a sport car. Based on the instruction, director will either invoke a regular car builder or it will invoke the sport car builder. So these builder are the primary feature of this pattern. So we initially define a builder interface. So let's look at the builder interface so that we get more clarity. So builder interface will have a set of functions which every concrete builder has to override, has to implement. For example, reset. Reset means create a new car, right? Create a car with empty features. Then maybe set seats, how many seat you want to set. Set engine, what type of engine you want to set. Set GPS, right? Do you want to set GPS in the car or not? And there will be a lot of features, but just to keep it simple, we have just chosen these 4 functions. Now there are 2 type of builder which are overriding this, or which are implementing this builder interface: sport car builder and regular car builder. Now the sport car builder return a car of type sports car, and regular car builder will return the car of type car, right? So these are 2 different objects and they are not related to each other. Now sports car builder will implement all of these functions, and it will have one more function called get result, and this get result will return the object of a sport car, and here it will return an object of car. So sport car and car. Now director, based on the instructions of the client, will make a call. So if a director has 2 functions exposed right now, which is construct sports car and constructs regular car. It takes a builder as an input. It doesn't know which type of builder it is getting. It just knows that it has to build a sport car. Based on that, it will pass the arguments. For example, it can pass the engine of type maybe sport. If it has to construct a sport car, it can set the seats differently. In regular car build, in constructing regular car, it can set seats differently. So all of that we will see in the code, but this gives us the high level idea. Now once the director issues the command to build a regular car to the respective builder, they will start building the car. So director will define all the steps, will invoke all the steps of building the car. Once the car is built, the customer or the client can directly request the builder that give me the result. So regular builder will return a regular car object, and a sport builder will return a sport car object. So you can see the code is divided into 4 parts. First is the client code, which invokes the director and issues the command that what type of car they want. The director code, based on the client's input, issues some set of construction commands to the builder it gets as an input. In the builder code defines exactly what needs to be done when a certain construction command is invoked. For example, setting the engine, setting the seats, creating the doors, creating the wheels, what type of wheels, all of that logic is contained in the builder, how to build it. And in the end, we have the product, whichever product will be returned based on whichever builder was invoked. So this gives us the overall idea of how the code is structured if you use the builder pattern. So now let's look at the code. So now we are in the code. As you can see, we will first look in the builder. So we have created this builder class. This is like all the functions are pure virtual here. So this is a interface. So it has reset, set seat, set engine, set trip computer, and set GPS. So these are the 5 construction steps right now in the builder. Now we can implement this builder in sport car builder. It has a sport car type object, we can see here, and it will override all of these functions, and it will have one more function of its own which returns the result of type sports car. Similarly, we have regular car builder which does exactly the same, but it builds the regular car object. So now if we look at the builder code, if you look at the sports car, in the reset we create a new object. So this is, you can think of this as an empty object. This car is empty, it has nothing right now. Then when you call the set seat function, it will set the number of seats to this car. How it does it, I have not write that logic, but in this set seats function, it will exactly do all of those steps which are needed to create the seats, and the number is given. Similarly, it will set the engine. So car was empty, we know. Now the engine will be built in the car. Then the trip computer will be set in the car, and the GPS will be set in the car. And in the get result, whatever the car object is currently looking now, it will return it as it is. Similarly, for the regular car, exactly the same thing will be done. Now we have added some print statement so that we can see it in working. Okay. So yeah, so this is the builder code. And everyone, just one thing, whatever code I am showing you, it will be available to you on GitHub. I will provide the link of it in the description below. Now let's go to the director. So we have only one director class, and it has two methods, construct sports car and constructs regular car, and it gets builder as an input. It doesn't know which builder it is getting, but based on the function, it will invoke the steps. So let's look at the steps. For example, if a director, if you invoke construct sports car, so whatever builder you issue, first of all, director will reset the builder. Resetting means a new fresh object will be created. Now it is an empty object. After that, for example, director invokes, okay, set 2 seats in this car because it's a sports car. Let's set 2 seats. Set engine, it will set an engine of type sport engine. Then set trip computer to true. Set GPS, right? So director will invoke all of these steps in the builder. Director doesn't know how the seats are set, how the engine is created, but director just invoke all of these steps, and builder is responsible to actually building seats, engine, and all of this. Now similarly, you can do construct regular car. In that, let's say you want to add 4 seats in a regular car versus 2 seats in a sports car. You want to add a regular engine, you want to set trip computer to false, you want to set GPS, and so on, right? You can also, if you can see, you can also comment out some steps here, and still your car will be built accordingly. So basically you have a flexibility of what type of construction methods you want to call. You can call just subset of it, you don't need to call everything. So this is the flexibility the builder pattern provides you. Now finally, when we go to the main, we create a director. That's it, we created one time. Now we create a sports car builder. Again, nothing we are doing, we don't know how sport car builder works, we just create the object, and then we call the director that construct a sports car, and you pass your sport car object. And once the construction is done, after that you will say to the builder, get me the result, and it will, we know it will result an object of type sports car. And similarly, we will create one regular car builder, and we will construct regular, we will call director with construct regular car, and we will provide a regular car builder, and we will get the result from there. So if I just run this code, so I have printed here building a sports car. Now you can see setting the number of seats to 2, setting the engine type to 1. Here engine type 1 means, you can see engine type 1 means a sports engine type 2 means regular engine. So setting an engine, building a, so this is how the sports car is built. Now when you call the construct regular car, you can see setting the number of seats to 4, setting the engine type to 2. So now based on whatever type of car you want to build, you can call the corresponding function in the director. So director acts as, director defines all the steps which are needed to create that object. I hope this is clear. Now let's come back to the benefits of this pattern. So till now we understood what builder design pattern is, how does it UML diagram looks like, how does it look overall. Then we looked at the code of each parts. We kept the code small so that we understand it nicely. Now we will look at the benefits. We already know what the benefits are, we will just summarize it. So first is, it provides seamless construction mechanism for large objects which has many optional components. So for example, when you are creating a car, maybe you don't want to add some fancy features, right? In your builder, let's say there is some called, let's say set fancy feature 1. That function you don't need to call in your director. if you are creating a regular car. So that is why it gives you the flexibility to choose subset of steps you want to execute for your car. Then it avoids large constructors, which also result in lot of overloaded constructors. We discussed about this in the beginning as well. If you don't use the builder pattern, your car object, if you want to create a car, will be very large. You have to provide a lot of parameters as an input, or it will also result in lot of overloaded functions. For example, one constructor will be where you just provide the number of seats. One constructor could be where you provide the number of seats, comma, engine type, right? So it will result in a lot of constructors. And it provides common interface for constructing different representations of an object. Now, as you can see, we created a sports car and a regular car. Now both are car, but they have some differences. But we can create a common interface builder using which we can create a different type of builders for each representation of the same object, but the function will remain same. Okay, and in the end, some disadvantages. So there is actually nothing. I mean, this will always be there. So this will add additional complexity to object creation. If you notice, in the builder pattern, what we have done, we have just created an object. So creating an object is supposed to be a one-line thing, but we are creating a lot of actors in it. So there is director, there is builder to just create an object. So it just add additional complexity. So it is not needed when the objects are small and simple. So it goes without saying, if you have a simple object, don't create it, don't construct it using builder. Do it directly using constructor. But if your object is complex enough, you can go to the builder pattern. So with that, everyone, we can wrap up this video. I hope this video helped you understand the builder design pattern. And if you find this video informative, please like this video. And if you think I have missed something in the builder design pattern, please let me know in the comments below so then I can improve. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.